Yeah.
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 We have some new callers today. A couple, I think.
Oh, well, that's delightful. Welcome all.
Thank you.
Hello.
So who's with us today?
My name is Barbara, and I'm from Southern Indiana.
All right.
I'm Rebecca. I'm from New Jersey, calling from Florida.
Okay.
And hi,
Lucky
Fran.
person.
It's Cindy
Yes.
Kiparissis.
Ah, hi there.
How are you?
Well, I'm glad you're with us, Cindy.
Well, thank you very much.
Hi, Fran. It's Mary Lou.
Hello there, darling.
Hello.
Hello, and Susan's here. Hello.
Great. Did you get your basics and warrior code?
Yep.
Oh, no. Did you email them to me?
I did today.
Oh, thank you. I didn't get a chance to check it. Thank you so much.
Okay, because Joseph was busy and he just told me about it, so that's why it's gotten to you now. But it's been sent. So,
thank you very much.
No problem. And who else have we got? Okay.
Oh, it's me, Joseph.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I know you.
I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. I have heard from someone who usually comes every week. She may be calling in later. But she really wants to be here. So at any rate, welcome all. It is delightful for all you who have been with us for perhaps from the beginning, and you who are just coming in. You're all welcome, and you're all essential to this IU, and we are honored and grateful that you're with us.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, and be aware that any movements behind you tend to be amplified. So when we get going, Joseph will mute the phones, but until that happens, be aware that even the slightest movement can sound a whole lot like more on this side. So be aware of that. Well then, this call, this gathering this evening is something that is, shall we say, the opening in this season of light that is happening now. A perfect way to open this season of light by giving thanks. And that can be from the smallest, tiniest thing to those things that are more significant and larger in your life. But it is important that we live in a state of gratitude. And that can be hard sometimes when it seems like there isn't enough. There are so many things going on. It can sometimes feel like it's hard to be grateful. I can tell you this. Every morning when I get up, I'm just simply grateful. You know, the sun's here. All life is here. When one's senses is able to perceive the energetic flow, you can feel that pulsing vitality of that energetic flow itself. Last week I had asked you who were with us if you would like to get more teachings about energetics itself, what I playfully call Energetics 101. And every one of you unanimously said yes. So we are going to get into that. So as we get into the heart of this call, think about, feel, what it is you are grateful for in your life. And then we're going to expand that to all life, to all. Because you see, in the clearing, by the sending of that, spinning out that joy, that gratitude, it does affect all that it touches. So that means that simple thing of just saying thank you. When you are conscious and you do that with intent, sincere intent, its flow from those simple words are more than you can ever imagine. I can tell you that I don't even know how many times in a day I say thank you. It can be something simple of being able to get on the road when there's a lot of traffic. Thank you. Of keeping us all safe on the road as we're getting into traffic circles and other traffic jams and getting through all that safely. I ask that we all are kept safe, that we all pay good attention, keeping us all safe. And when that happens, as it does, I say thank you. So it can be something as small as that. It can be anything. Simple as finding 2 socks that are the same color. Anything. This is being in a state of gratitude. So that's what this call is about, specifically. Because even though we do have that holiday on Thursday, Thanksgiving, meant to honor the coming into this country, making it so many people's home, we have to give thanks to those who are native to this country, where it was originally theirs, and we did come, be in a state of gratitude for that. In every single thing that you are and do. Just that. Being in service can bring such beautiful reciprocity. As all of you know our code, what I do for myself, I do for the greater good, not because it serves me only, but because it serves us all. You know, many of you have been on airplanes, and you know they tell you about that. If there's ever the need when the oxygen mask comes down, to take it yourself first before helping the person next to you. If you look at that in every level in all ways, it is perfect. Because if you're knocked out, how can you help anybody else? If you give yourself away instead of giving of yourself, how can you help anyone? And if you are not in a state of gratitude with yourself and are not helping yourself to do all in what you can be, how in the world can you ever take that outward and help others? So let us look at this. And as we go further into this, we have, in these gatherings, we have traveled to the K Pacha. We have seen the K Pacha. We have seen the canopy of light. Because you see, in the season of light, that canopy gets renewed. at any holes or gaps that have happened in it. At this time, people bringing goodwill causes that canopy to strengthen again. And it doesn't matter if you follow an organized religion or any religion at all. It doesn't matter that you follow what practice or any practice. But if you know in your heart that the light is, and within the light, all that it shines, all of its rays, light, love, compassion, gratitude, all of it, humility, all of it in its colors beyond, its myriad colors beyond any human conception. This canopy of light is strengthening, even in this moment, folks, because we're doing this together. Maybe this vessel is talking, but we're all doing this together. And this is what it's about, folks. So I'm going to ask each and every one of you, and I do encourage each and every one of you to say your thanks for whatever it is that you would like to say your thanks to. And as soon as someone speaks and says he or her is, be careful of the noise, please. Okay, you might want to mute the lines, Joseph, please.
All right.
Tell me when.
You can go ahead. I'll get it.
When when the lines are opened again, and each and every one of you says what it is you are thankful for, we together will do something that is an ancient thing, an ancient way of the Inca and others and other practices of light, paths of light throughout the world. But this in the way of the Inca. When we are offering or giving thanks in other ways as well, other intents as well, we will, what we call in the Quechua language of Peru, Fukui, that thanks. What that does with our breath, Fukui is the releasing of that intent through breath. So when we blow, send it through our breath out, what that does is it strengthens that canopy of light. See it as filaments of light coming from your breath and weaving into the canopy of light, strengthening it with all the infinite threads that are already there. And you know how you're going to know it's true, and it's done by how you're feeling right now. Each and every one of you can feel this in your belly, in your bodies, and every bit of you. Because you see, when we're working, this is not just good conversation. We are working at the energetic right now. That's what we're doing. And that's why we are so deeply grateful and humbled and honored that each and every one of you give an hour and a half or somewhere in there of your time on Monday evenings. It's that important. So we're going to open the lines again, and each and every one of you, when a person speaks after he or she has said what he or she is grateful for, we will fukui that, and then the next person can speak until we all have done so. So you can open the lines, Joseph.
All right.
Okay.
I'm Barbara, and I'm very grateful for my health.
With your breath, blow this beautiful filament that Barbara has offered. Feel that, folks. Perceive. Thank you, Barbara. Whoever wants to be next.
This is Joseph, and I'm grateful for my family, my friends, all the people in my life that help me keep me clear and focused and, on the right path, on what I need to be doing, on where I need to be going in my life. And I'm just thankful that those people are there and in my life. And, yeah, that's about it.
Thank you. That's the coolest. Keep this going.
I'm Susan. I'm grateful for love and friends and family and my cats and nature, and also for this group and what I'm learning.
Thank you. Keep it flowing.
I'm Cindy, and I'm grateful for the continued enlightenment of humanity.
Ah, yeah.
I'm Rebecca. I'm grateful for my ability to love and be loved, and for the challenges that I face, because they make me so much stronger.
Ah, very wonderful message. Thank you for that.
My name is Cindy, and I am thankful that I am human and that I have a chance to help humankind and to give as much love as possible.
Ah, yeah. Wonderful.
My name is Mary Lou, and I'm thankful for my home and family and animals and all that I'm learning through shamanism.
Yeah. Do we have any others with us? Okay. Is anyone who is there who is shy and doesn't feel that what he or she offers is important, let that go immediately. Everyone and everything is equal importance. Know that, of equal importance. Not one more than another, not one less than another. No one better, no one lesser. We are all one. Remember, if the outside was gone, what's left? Pure energy. The more that we clear those old concepts and those old stories and those old beliefs of what we are supposed to be and what's happening, and let those go, the more the evolution becomes so. That each and every one of us is alive today, in this moment, with this evolution of all life happening even in this moment, that we can, each and every one of us, be as conscious a conscious vessel to actually participate actively to assist this evolution, this is more exciting, more extraordinary, more splendid than anything that has ever been. Because, folks, that's exactly what we're doing. Exactly. Yes. As anything that comes that tries to claim you again, any of that old stories, all of that old past stuff, any of that personal stuff, blow it out so it can't get hold of you. You are saying effectively to it, I see you. And in that way, it's gone. It dissipates. And in that dissipation, what happens is pure energy is then. That each and every one of us are actually doing this. And this is not just our group this evening, but people all over the world and beyond are doing this even in this moment. Mm-hmm. If you truly, truly can perceive that, the joy that fills, I can tell you the joy and the peace that fills me when I know that. And I do every moment. It gets you going better than any cup of coffee can ever do. Yeah. And just what we did now, folks, anyone like to say anything about what they're feeling now? What they now know of what we've just done so far in our gathering this evening? Okay. I am going to ask you to mute the phones, Joseph.
All right.
Let me know when.
You go ahead.
Okay. We're going to do a little journeying now. We're going to perceive now this canopy of light. In whatever religion or path or practice of light that you are in, in the full embodiment of that, together, let us send filaments of that high practice of light, that high path of light, in whatever form it has taken. And let us together, each and every one of us, sending those filaments to this canopy of light. Perceive as this is happening, the sensing of what is happening even as you do that. And in that moment, the sensing of the energetic flow through the Kepacha. Feel it. And one of the symbols that I've been using for the cloth of creation, it is an oval, an elliptical, with a chakana in the middle. So if you can envision then all those circles that emanate from that, it goes well beyond this earth, this Pachamama, to all life, wherever it is. Consider, folks, that what you're doing and we're about to do in a moment or so, is that real? Is that actual? We're doing what you always wanted to do and didn't know how to do it or wasn't sure how to do it. We're doing it right now. Let that joy, that excitement fill you. All the filaments of the path of light, the religion, the practice that you are in, and even if you are not, just knowing that you are the light. Send those filaments of light to this canopy of light. Feel it, sense it, see it, perceive it. See it, perceive it. As they go to this canopy of light, filling in the gaps, the holes, where it has worn thin. See how bright it is, this canopy of light, how strong. And that what we are doing, these filaments of light, that we are weaving now into that canopy, as it strengthens, closing those gaps. And in this same moment, seeing how the flows, those energetic rivers of the Kepacha, flows through the Pachamama, the Mother Earth, strengthening, seeding, renewing, planting new seeds. And feeling as it radiates out to all life, wherever it may be, wherever life is, so it goes. And knowing it's not about you, it never was, it is not personal, that what we all now are doing in this moment in this gathering, what we do for ourselves, we do for the greater good, not because it serves us only, but because it serves all. So be it. As it is above, so it is below. So be it. Within to without. And with gratitude in your heart, in your being, return now to your physical bodies, your current bodies, in the time and place where you are, fully centered, fully grounded, fully in the time and place where you are. And Joseph, you can open the phone.
All right.
Anybody would like to say something about what they have just come to know?
Just saw a large campfire.
What is it that each and every one of you, perhaps, have perceived, have felt? What has happened now in that actual weaving of the filaments of light?
Nothing stays the same. It just keeps on moving.
Mhm. Mhm. Anyone else? How did any of you perceive? What did you perceive of that canopy of light?
I felt like I was carrying it like a sail in the wind.
How was it perceived? How did it look? What did you see? What did you perceive? What did it, shall we say, look like?
Mine was in a circular motion.
Mhm. Did any of you perceive its color?
Just bright like fire.
Mhm.
Mine was white.
Mhm.
Mine's sort of purple.
Mhm. Well, it is a prism, so it is all colors. Yes. Yes, because you see, each filament carries its own, is unique in itself. So when it's all woven together, it weaves into this beautiful prism. Yes. How do each of you feel now?
Serene.
Peaceful.
Mhm.
Powerful.
Yes. How does it feel to be actively participating in this evolution of all life? To actually actively be a participant. To be an actual weaver.
Hopeful.
A little uncertain.
That's personal.
Okay.
You see, remember that the lower self, the human, was born, it's going to die, and it's terrified every moment it's going to die. So it's going to source everything through its own personal filters, creating illusions of safety. So anything that's beyond its comfortable safety categories, it's going to throw its point of references in. And when you, who are the higher primal perceptual self, knows that you are the primary, that you're the one that's given the guidance, not the lower self trying to throw its safety illusions in there, then you know what you know. So the uncertain is the human.
Mm-hmm.
It spooks itself all the time. And this is well out of any of its safety comfort zone illusions. Way out of that. You're being asked to step into that vow that you took well before you were ever born into any physical body, unconditionally. So the human is going to get it as the expression is, get its knickers, its knickers in a twist.
In a twist.
About all this. This is where we have to step in and say, relax. What do we all say, folks? Remember the stop it, drop it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is definitely one of those times. I can tell you that when I journey to the canopy of light and perceive and work in it, work with it. And everybody, I should tell you this, that there is no right or wrong way to perceive. Some people see, some people sense, some people smell, some people, I shouldn't say it that way. People don't smell. Sorry.
We knew what you meant.
Yes, we do.
Yes, yes. You know, maybe when we're a week in the canyon, we might say that, but not for this. But whatever it is, however it is that the higher perceptual primal self that you are senses is the way that one does. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. I've seen it time after time, folks, in groups where there are those that can easily perceive, can easily see, can easily sense its weight, its texture, and there may be others who can do none of that, but yet know what they know. Now, they're feeling they're doing something wrong because they're not seeing it something. No, they're doing it the way that they are meant to do it. So let go all the right and wrong.
If we see something, should we not even ask about what it is or what it means? Just see it?
In what context are you?
Well, for example, at the pipe ceremony 2 nights ago, I saw an onion. Okay, we'll bring this in. When you are in any kind of sacred work, whatever symbols may come to you, if it is you let your lower self get in the way with trying to figure it out. Okay, that was my question. There you go. You won't gain the guidance. If you go through who and what you really are, the higher perceptual primal self, you will know. Okay. It's only when the lower self gets involved and says, why am I seeing an onion? What in the world? Where the higher perceptual primal self will just show you what it is. Why? Go ahead. I just wanted to complete that by saying, and what's more, you already know. Yeah. The month previous, I saw a menorah, and I'm not Jewish. I mentioned afterward that I saw the menorah, and my Jewish friend said that it was 3 days before Rosh Hashanah. Okay, well, there may be that, but remember, that's all part of life's story. Okay. Remember that what comes in when you're in sacred work, that whatever comes to you, it is the language, if you will, of the sacred, of the light itself, giving you, speaking to you in symbols, much like dreams. So in that way, don't try to struggle and figure out what it means. Know what it is. And the way you know is by the higher perceptual primal self telling you this, showing you this. It simply is.
But how does that come about? I mean, just by being open and
well, yeah. Okay. It does, you already know what you know, but it can be that conscious training is needed to help you to know what you know. Many of us were born more conscious than others. So we have, through maybe a portion of our life, lived through intuition, doing whatever we're doing through intuition, but there was not any conscious actual training or teaching to know what that's about. You see, the conscious training and teaching gives a container, gives it a form, so that you know what it is.
You know what that intuitive sense is. It takes time. But I will tell you this. By getting out of the lower self human who wants to find its safe categories and write all of its little stories and all of that stuff, go through that library to find that correct point of reference. By letting your higher perceptual primal self, also known as spirit within, higher self, there's many different ways that this is said, but this is the way we term that. To let that be the primary source of engagement, of guidance.
And
so that is that. Let me just complete this. Is that if there is a perceptual ping, you know that thing that says make the right turn when you go out today, don't make the left turn, and when you make the right to turn, it's good, but if you make the left turn, there's a 6-car accident. You know that little ping that we all know about, and we do listen from time to time? Okay, well, it's listening to that ping, and this is knowing without word, without thought, just simply the sense of being intact. When there is a sense that whatever it is that ping is intact, then this is what you follow. If there's a sense that something is not intact, simply don't do it. And that's that. And if there's that chatter that comes up, the buts and the what ifs and should have and is that the way I should do it? All that's the lower self trying to stay safe again. And that's where we use that expression, stop it, drop it, I got this. Step back. And that way, what you are consciously doing is teaching your lower self human, it's all right. It's not as scary as you believe it is. I got this. Life is simple. It's only when you write stories about it, it isn't. And going through the flow, by following the flow and learning how it is, coming to know, perceive the energetic, its weight, its color, its texture, its sound, and well beyond that. When you come to know that, the stories of the lower self becomes less. And you can tell the difference immediately when that lower self wants to get in the way. We use a rule of thumb about that. The more resistance you feel to a thing, faster go do it. Because that's the lower self telling you, that's not safe. Because that's an old story, that's a point of reference. And that's where if the sense is it's intact, then that's all you need to know. You don't need a story to convince you. You just know what you know.
You have to be present, really present.
That's right. Exactly. Be here. In every moment, be here. Yes. And it may sound, I just wanted to say that it may sound like a lot of work, but it's really a lot less work than it is looking for stories and points of reference. That can be exhausting. You don't have to work so hard at being who you are. Yes.
I've really been trying to be present. If something's happened, and in February this year, I hit a patch of black ice, and as I was spinning around in the vehicle before I went off a 30-foot embankment, I heard myself say, "Oh God, I did not get it done." I thinking I was going to die, I guess. I don't know. But those words came out of my mouth, but I never thought them. They just came out of my mouth, and I heard them come out. And I've just been puzzled ever since, thinking, what is it? What is it I'm supposed to be doing? And so that's why I'm here, kind of, and this is another step on this journey since February. So it's just something that I'm drawn to.
That's wonderful, though.
Yes.
But when you've gone through a situation like that, if you can perceive that as a door opening for you to see who and what you really are, to step in consciously beyond intuition and to consciously participate with what you know you are to do, then you perhaps can understand better why it is those words came out and that situation happened in the first place. So that can be something for you to come to know even more. Joseph, I think you were.
That's part of that where I said it being present. That's what I'm learning over and over again. Is from that time. It's just to be here, because right now is all I have. That's it. It could be taken away in a second. So I'm focusing on being present, and like you mentioned, that chatter. That's getting less and less, because there again, I hear myself saying that. It's just like, that's not me that's saying that. Well, I'm observing myself, and it's something to behold.
Yeah, and you know something? You don't have to work so hard at being who you are. Just be that. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be logical. You don't have to spend the time looking through the archives. Just be. Just be.
But stop and drop is the first time I've heard that.
Yep. When that lower self wants to throw its chatter in, and I say this enough to my lower self, is stop it, drop it, I got this.
That'll be my tool, I guess.
It really helps. Stop it, drop it, I got this, move on. And if she wants to continue to carry on with herself, getting those knickers in a twist, you want to say to her, stop it, drop it, step back, I got this. This is actively, consciously participating with you and with the guidance that the universe is giving you. You are consciously doing that. You're not spending the time working so hard at finding the right answer, doing the right thing, thinking about it. No more of that. You don't have to do that much. It does make life quite a bit more simple. You know, years and years ago, when I went through, at that time was called the medicine wheel, when I went through my own journey of that, the first time I went, I brought so many clothes, and I brought food, and I brought just tons of stuff. The second time I went, for the second segment of that, there was less. The third time I went, there was even less. The fourth and final time I went, very, very little. So look to yourself, folks. How much baggage do you take with you to keep safe? How much excess do you bring with yourself, mentally, emotionally, in every way that there can be? How is it that you weigh yourself down with what is truly unnecessary? And what happens is when you go through the higher perceptual primal self, the actual self, the authentic self, that no longer has anything to do with anything. You just simply are.
and life just gets simpler, irregardless of what's happening in your life. You just go ahead and do it anyway.
21 years ago, I married into this family that I'm in now, and the story still is brought up over and over again, and they laugh. And at that time, I had a large bag I carried around with me, and we were on a visit somewhere out in the country, and somebody said something, and I said, I've got a pruning shear. I pulled out a foot-long, one of those fold-up pruning shears I had in my purse, and I don't know why I had it, but I had it. And so, like, they still joke about that today, what I carry with me, you know.
Well,
I have gotten less. I have carried less than this.
Yes. You see, that's the thing, is that when you are truly sourced through your higher perceptual primal self, this is the primary source, then everything that is to be with you, the guidance will be. And that does lessen a lot of things up, you know, because you don't have to carry that much with you.
At least not a pruning shear anymore.
Good. Very good. Very good. Joseph, I think you had something you wanted to add?
Well, I was just going to share that for me it's really about where I engage from. In terms of, you know, there's thoughts, there's beliefs, there's ideas about the world and how things are. And I just sort of, you know, I don't really engage that anymore. At least I just sort of can turn that off and tune that out. And before that, in a real still place within me, I can just sort of feel what to do and feel whatever the guidance is. And that's sort of where I try to stay at, and try to stay, you know, fully present and clear in that place, so that I can really stay in balance with that. Because, you know, there's any number of things throughout the day that can throw me out of that balance. And for me, it's just really about staying in that sort of still place within me, before, you know, the thoughts and the beliefs and the stories about life and ideas about how the world is and how people are and how things are and all these past experiences that have happened. And I can just, you know, let all that go and just say, all right, what's really there before all that, and just engage from there. And that's just where clarity is for me, at least. It just feels clear, and it's no story, no chatter, no nothing attached to it. Just is what it is.
Yes, it is what it is. Yeah, and that comes from knowing that sense of what is that it is intact or it is not. There's no right or wrong or bad or good or false or true or anything about it. It just simply, it is what it is. It is intact. That's all. There need to be nothing else. Yes. So what we're doing, and all that you're coming to know and what you've already brought out, fill it with your gratitude for knowing what you know, and knowing that in that instant that it fills with gratitude, those filaments are weaving into the canopy of light, strengthening it anew. This is a joyous, extraordinary gift given to all. Anyone have anything else about any of that? Because we're going to go into some of the teachings of the Energetic 101.
Anybody like to add anything? No? Okay. Joseph, I'm going to ask you to mute the phones, please.
All right. You can go ahead.
Okay. The energetic is the raw stuff of creation. It is that before form. It is It simply is. How do we sense it? Again, that perceptual ping, that sense of something. There's no thought, there's no word, there's nothing, there's no reference. It just simply is a something. It is the resonance, if you will, or the vibrating of the energetic itself, something. It does have weight. It does have color. It does have sound, and many others. This is how one senses the energetic. It may be that you've heard certain words seem to have a weight to them, or a texture, or a color. Maybe a name, maybe a song, maybe music, maybe something, an idea. It may seem to have these attributes. This is the sensing of its state, of what it is, and then bringing that through. Now, I know there's at least one of you as an artist. We may have more artists with us. We might have musicians with us. We might have singers, or we may, whoever we have with us. But if any of you work in a modality that comes from a creative spark, you may very well know this already. How do you bring that creative spark to canvas, to music, to written word? How do you follow it? Perhaps through your intuition. But by actually sensing its completeness in that instant of perception, you will know all that is to be known about that. Now, I am going to ask Joseph to open the phones just for a few minutes before we get into a little bit of an exercise here, because I would like to hear any of your thoughts on what was just said, and please do bring it out. Let me know when the phones are open.
We're good.
Okay. All right, folks. What of what I just said?
Yes, I understand what it is to work from instinct. Totally.
Is it instinct or intuitive?
I guess intuitive is the word. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Mhm. Mhm. Really, whatever anyone else about it. This is Energetics 101, so it's really important that you bring out what you're thinking.
It sort of reminds me of, I don't know if I'm saying the word right, Tao, the way, Taoism maybe?
Yeah, okay.
And also just in creating something, it's like you put your finger out and and you're catching that vibration or something, and whether it's music or poetry or art or whatever it is that you're expressing, I guess of the primal source and where all things come from. I would think something like that.
Yes, that is exactly the energetic, the perceptual sensing of the energetic. Yes.
Yeah, what comes to mind to me is it almost sort of reminds me of, like, say you play an instrument and you have to basically stay in alignment, and through doing that it's like keeping an instrument in tune in a way. And that's sort of like the balance of what's there, when you feel like you're in, the flow of it, and you feel clear and you feel grounded and present and all that, that's basically like, like she said with Taoism, that's what it reminds me of too. But it's also, just basically staying in balance with what's there and not sort of getting distracted or knocked out of the way.
Yes. If there's
not questioning.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. If there's a sense of discordance, then it is something is out of reciprocity, and the Quechua out of Aini, which means perfect reciprocity, perfect balance. It is simply not intact. So when we are working the energetic, we are bringing that back into an intact state. There may be, Joseph, I know you have, and there may be a few of you who have worked with us in sacred ceremony and have seen that happen, where what is being done at the energetic, weaving the energetic, keeping it moving smoothly in an intact state. And in whatever way that is to be done to keep that, bring it into an intact state, to do it. And having said that, when it is best served to let it move in a state that is not intact. Why would we want to do that? So, why would we ever let something be out of an intact state?
Well, I would say normally because you're not conscious of it, but...
No. What I'm saying, let me be clear about what I'm saying.
Right.
If we're in a group or we're in a journey or we're doing something, and I am holding the container, the sacred container, and watching it weave, why would there ever be a time where I see that the energetics are not in an intact state? Why would it be that I would not, other than the obvious answer that I have the guidance not to step in right in that moment, beyond that given answer, why is it that I would not bring it into an intact state? Why would I permit it to, and I'm saying I as a vessel of light, not the personal, why would I let that continue to be in a state that was not intact? Anybody got that?
Because you haven't achieved your consciousness. Basically your ego's taking over. So it would be
you're around that. It's in there, but not completely. But go ahead. Next.
I would feel in that situation there's probably something to be learned from it, and also at the same time, it may be, necessary, at least at first, because the person there may have an extreme sort of reaction to that in a way, and make it even worse than it is. But it could be a lot of things.
Okay. The part of what you said, there's something to be learned from it. That if something has gone out of an intact state, and I have the guidance to leave that be, it is because something is to be learned. That person or those people who are sourcing through the ego, the personal, causing the container to go out of an intact state, it is for them to come to see that, to perceive it, and bring it back into an intact state. Everybody get that? Questions?
Does that pertain to the physical self, or could it?
Okay. If someone is out of an intact state, they're already in the personal.
Yeah.
They're already in the lower self.
The physical is the lower self.
Yes. They're already there.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Could it also be that it is also an authentic expression, just sort of in a fetal form, sort of a thing?
Okay. Say that a little more.
Could it also be that it is also an authentic expression, just sort of not quite, formed yet, or
okay, gotcha. Okay. This is where perceiving the sense, the weight, the texture, the color of whatever is happening will give you that answer. If it is someone who is sourced strictly through the personal and is resisting guidance because that person wants to stay in the personal, be right, so to speak, that's a very different sense, a very different feel than someone who just simply doesn't know yet and is more or less floundering, maybe, or isn't sure of what to do. That's a whole different sense. That's a whole different feel.
And you can feel that, the difference between the two?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And what's more is that you all can learn this. You all can know this. Because I can tell you, folks, if you weren't ones who could, you wouldn't be with us tonight.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is why we have the work called Energetic Weavers, just for this reason, to actually sit in sacred ceremony and work this and come to know this. But we're working this now. I know we're getting close to the completion of the call, but we're not really on a timeline here. So we can go a little longer if you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So, of what was just said now, what do you know? What do you know now? Any more questions? Because this is all parts of Energetic 101.
Well, I understand myself a lot more.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say in what I've been working on the past few months is basically what to engage, what not to engage, and sort of where to engage it from, what I should take on, what I shouldn't, and how I should go about it. And while that may seem complicated, it really isn't, just because I'm learning more and more not to source it through past experiences, beliefs, thoughts, anything like that. I'm just sort of feeling it as I go and going from there rather than, thinking about it or writing a story about it or any number of things that, and I'm observing all the times and places in my life where I can almost knock myself out, or I could let someone else, say something that would make me knock myself out. And I'm learning more and more not to take that on, or not to even take that sort of whatever it is into my body as my own, and I can just sort of observe it and see it for what it is without physically engaging it directly and having that sort of conflict. And through doing that, I don't knock myself out. And that's awesome.
It is awesome. You're right about that. And
knock yourself out. What do you just out of balance, you mean? Or?
Well, I can take something personally that someone else may have said or did, and, from there it can go on to, a number of different things that could cause me to get out of balance or out of whack. And I just try to stay clear of, thoughts, beliefs, projections about reality, about life, about people, drama, this, that, the other, and try to, let that be what it is. And that's fine, But I just try to stay, in that place of stillness within me, in that place of peace within me, and not let anything sort of really take me out of that. And that's what I'm working on.
But don't you need to know exactly when you're doing that you're not actually hiding it, and that it comes out in the future, basically in the future, that you should really grasp it now and confront it and take your energy back?
Okay, but you already know that. In that perceptual ping that gives you that sense something is intact, something is not intact. In that moment, you know exactly what it is to do or not do, because the guidance comes in that exact moment, simultaneously. So you know that when something comes, if it is intact, you will know that. You will also know when it is not. And you will also receive the guidance in that exact moment of what to do or what not to do. You see, we consciously choose our engagements. So that means that we don't just let the lower self decide what to do, because we know that the lower self is going to go through all its own stories and its old beliefs and all that stuff and points of reference that have no meaning. And so instead of doing that, we source through the higher perceptual primal self. In that instant of that perceptual ping, yes, it is intact, no, it is not. And in that moment, the guidance comes of what to do or not do.
Well, for example,
Mm-hmm.
You're driving a car and somebody cuts you off. So there's days you would say, all right, that person has a bad day, and then you're not focused, and all of a sudden somebody cuts you off and you say, damn that guy or damn that girl. I mean, that damn that you say to yourself, you really can't even allow yourself to go down that thought pattern, to allow that person to have that control, that power over you. So you're always getting tested.
Well, you know what? We're human, and we're going to be for at least the rest of this life. We do get better at it, though. So that means that when you say, damn that guy for cutting me off, don't be toxic about it. And don't take it as a personal affront to you. The human self gets crabby and grumpy and tired and pissy and the knickers and the twist, the whole thing. And we know that it does. So instead of it being personally defensive, we see it for what it is. And this is where we can say to our lower self, relax, rest now. I got this. I know you're grumpy today. Relax, I got this. It works. But see, the thing is, anger is a natural sense. It's a primal sense. It is only when it is sourced through a lower self story that it becomes an emotion-laden emotion. It's a story-laden emotion.
And becomes toxic.
I'm sorry, didn't hear you.
And then would become toxic.
Yes, exactly. When it is through the primal sense of anger, its natural intent is to get you out of danger. That's what it's about. Okay? So is fear. That's a natural primal sense as well. Get you out of danger. That's all. It's only when it is sourced through old stories that it becomes a story-laden emotion. And that's when it becomes personal and toxic. So when that guy cuts you off and you get angry about it, just don't be toxic about it.
No, aren't you supposed to not even be angry about it, though, and just say, okay, he's just having a bad day. I got this.
Okay. Even better than that, no engagement at all. Remember, consciously choose your engagement. He cut me off, whatever, I'm still going ahead. I'll tell you something. We all have our little thing. When I'm sitting at a light or a stop sign, and, my feeling is who's ever in the front of the row of the line of cars can see the traffic flow that no one else behind that car can see. So maybe I'm sitting there and I'm seeing the traffic and somebody behind me blows the horn. So my lower self immediately wants to say, split. So I say, okay, here's the thing. I can see what that person can't see. That person can settle down. And yes, I am human. Sometimes I'm not that nice about it. But I'm not toxic. That doesn't ever happen. So yes, go ahead.
In the book, the 4 agreements, are you familiar with that? The
4 agreements? Yeah.
Uh-huh. And that's what we're talking about. Is in the second one is in don't take anything personally.
Well, that's right. But you see, that's the teaching of the Incas too. That's the teaching. You're going to find teachings, ancient teachings all over the world that very much say the same things. But you see, the primal senses of anger and fear, their intent is to get you out of danger. It's only when it is story-laden that it becomes the toxic emotion. And you know that because you feel it. When that lower self gets defensive, that feeling of resistance, that heaviness you feel in your belly, that queasy, that unease that you feel, and all the chatter starts, all the supposedly justifiable reasons. Okay? So you already know about that. So now that you are conscious, you know the difference. And before it can even begin, even that tirade can begin, no, I don't choose this. That's it. It's done. Simple.
Stop it. Drop it.
It does work. It does work. So I know we're getting close now to the completion for this evening. There's a lot about the energetics, We're going to be bringing this in the calls as they go along. And, You all said that you wanted this, and that's what you're going to get. And whatever else comes, you're going to have that too, you know. I can tell you one thing that I am grateful for this week is that this Wednesday I have a birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, friend.
Thank you. Thank you. And I am deeply grateful to know that in all the dark places that I have gone through, that I have gone through the dark night of the soul and come out the other side into the light, delighted and laughing. And we'll see what this 63 third year is going to be about. And what I do know is that whatever is to come, I am grateful for it. Because it has taught me much. And whatever it is, it is. The praise goes to the sacred ones of light. I am content with respect. And I'll still go into the jungles. And I still will go in the mountains. And I still will sit in sacred ceremony. And I will go in the canyons. And I will get tired. And my body will get cranky and grumpy. So be it. But there's still a smile on my lips and music in my soul and peace and stillness in my belly. So be it. So, folks, as we complete, is there anything you would like to complete with before we close for this evening?
I'm just grateful for a better understanding tonight as a stepping stone. These teachings have been going on for several weeks, but I just feel like I've grasped upon some things tonight. So I'm grateful to you, Fran.
Yeah. The praise goes to the sacred ones of light. Thank you.
And Fran, you said this is the beginning of 101, Energetics 101. Are there some little bullet points of future things that we're going to learn about?
You're going to learn about all sorts of things. All delightful, wonderful, extraordinary things. That you will learn. And that you're here this evening shows that you're willing. And that's wonderful.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks for everyone who showed up tonight and shared what you came to share. I appreciate it. And, I've been doing this work for a while, and I'll always learn something new from it, and I'm always working to, to learn more and to become more conscious and to grow, So thank you all.
Thank you.
Joseph and Fran and everyone else who's joined this evening.
Yes. Well, we say our thanks to the sacred ones of light. So, Psyche, Lira Kocha, Pachamama, Mamikila, Inski Taita, Apupunya, Unichai, Munai, Shantai. We thank you, you who are the sacred ones of light. Mother Moon, Father Sun, Mother Earth, Sacred Mountain of Light. We thank you all for your help this evening. And we ask that you guide us and help us so that we too may guide and help others. We give our love and our thanks. We are deeply humbled and grateful for all of your help. We thank you. Thank you all.
Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week.
Happy birthday and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Good night.